Hey mamas. By now, you know I'm probably getting zooted, tooted, and booted off Miss Oregano in between breaks, but I love a good microdose moment. I don't discriminate. I love her in any form I can get her. I have been loving these Lumi Labs microdose gummies. If you are not familiar with microdosing, it's basically an entry level experience to floating on cloud nine. You know, we've talked a lot about substances, but these are not going to land you in prison. So don't you worry yourself, okay? So, microdose is available nationwide. To learn more about microdosing THC, just do a quick search online or go to microdosegummies.com and use code Unfazed to get free shipping and 30% off your first order. Links can be found in the show's description, but again, that's microdosegummies.com and use code Unfazed.
Today's episode is sponsored by the Pill Club. I've been putting all my homegirls on, so if you're a birth control girly, I highly recommend you give them a try. Access to affordable healthcare for women has become increasingly more and more difficult over the years, so treat yourself to some peace of mind with the Pill Club. Life is stressful enough. Access to healthcare shouldn't be. Luckily, birth control and sexual wellness products can be one less thing to worry about with the Pill Club. No more appointments, no more doctors, no more waiting rooms, no more lines at the pharmacy. Whether it's time to renew your prescription, looking to switch brands, or maybe you're a first-timer, the Pill Club has you covered. They've got 120 FDA-approved brands, mostly free with insurance. Prices start at $7 without. It'll come in a discreet package. You get free delivery, along with some free extra self-care gifts and goodies. So girls, what are you waiting for? Right now, when you go to thepillclub.com/unfazed, the Pill Club is offering a $10 donation to bedsider.org for every unfazed and unbothered listener who becomes a patient. Your donation will help lower-income individuals get access to birth control through bedsider.org. That's thepillclub.com/unfazed to get your first birth control care package and donate to help more women in need of affordable birth control. Remember, thepillclub.com/unfazed. You must use the link to make a donation.
Hey girls, welcome back to Unfazed and Unbothered. I'm Camo.
I'm Tasia.
So today, we had to rush over to Best Buy and get a new Yeti microphone because our equipment said RIP. Last week there was a lot of interruptions, so we just can't do that anymore. I wish we were like technical gurus because I did get two mics, but we're like either I'm just stupid or something's just not working. So we're gonna be sharing this microphone until further notice. Hopefully y'all can hear us very cute and gorgeously. So yeah. What's new? What's tea? Any juice this week?
The only juice that I have is this big ass sty on my eye, and the fact that I pulled out all my lashes this morning because it needs to heal. And honestly, like I'm living for the no lash look. Like,
are you really?
I kind of am, really. And it's summertime, so I might like let them rest. I've been going to the tanning bed, and a tan makes you look better anyways. And so I'm just trying to just embrace it. So if you see me on video and you like can see my red eye, that's why. It's not even a sty though. I thought it was a sty. They said it was something else, like blast from clitoris or something.
Blasted clitoris.
So anyways, but I took my lashes out and putting this ointment on it, so whatever. But yeah, I'm actually living for the no lash look. You know, we love a natural beauty queen.
A natural woman.
But also like I think that like I'm just kind of getting tired of the lashes because it really does like take over your face. And I'm just kind of tired of it, which I'm kind of glad that I'm tired of it because we love that. We love a gorgeous, thriving beauty queen, but I'm also like stressed out in the meantime because we're doing this episode and both kids are here. Mm-hmm. Princeton is living the dream and Greenlee is taking a nap. So if I like get up during this, it's to check on the kids. So please, just kind of be understanding of that, because I feel like a lot of people have said something about me on the podcast a lot. Like, I don't take it serious. Like, I really
Well,
do.
you
But
got
like,
kids here, so you got to go take care of them if they start crying or something.
yeah, but like also there's like a lot of times where sometimes we have to do this last minute and the kids are not at a babysitter's house.
Yeah, I'm supposed to go to LA tomorrow, and we had to rush and do 2 episodes today, a little last minute trip. So I'm not fully prepared today, but yeah. But you're also driving now.
I know, and I'm so excited about that. So the license situation was like very traumatizing, and I am scarred because I literally was supposed to get my license on February 3rd, and I didn't get it back until literally a few days ago. And, you know, I've been told for over a year that I could get a license and all these things. It was a huge process to get the information that I need, the paperwork. And when I went up to the DMV twice, they told me that basically I was not eligible until 2025. And I was like, well, who am I speaking to on the phone? Like, am I dreaming? Like, what's going on? So they had to do some digging, and they were like, yeah, we called our corporate office, and they said you are eligible. In the computer, it just kind of confused us because you have all these things. And I'm like, yes, I know. I used to be a wild girl. I'm a recovered sober beauty queen. But yeah, like anytime I explain like my driving history and stuff, like people are like, how? Like, I don't understand. And I'm like, girl, like I got all of my charges before I was 21. So they pretty much threw the book at me. So I'm honestly blessed that I even got a license. So yes, I am very grateful, cute and gorgeous for that. But yeah, I honestly feel like a huge weight has just been lifted off my chest.
You feel free, I'm sure.
I do. And like also like I feel like I can do things for myself. You know what I'm saying? Like usually if the kids have doctor's appointments, my husband's having to get off work and do all these things, and it's a lot. And like not only that, but like even when, you know, the kids go to a babysitter, like it takes a village to get them there and back and all these things. So like I'm genuinely just so thankful to be one step further than I was when I didn't have a license. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I know I feel like I'm going in circles, but like...
No, but it's very exciting, and you've spent now so long without driving, and like now girl, she can hit up Target.
And also like I was really nervous to drive again, but I just did it. Like the first day I got my license back, I was like telling Gavin, I was like, I don't want to go get the kids. Maybe we should just wait till you get off of work. And he was like, well, you can get the kids. And I was like, okay, whatever. So I just went to get the kids. I drove on the highway. Everything was very good. Like, honestly, I'm not a bad driver. Like the issue between me now and back then is like I was always like very immature. You know what I'm saying? Like my mind wasn't where it was supposed to be. And so like that gives me peace today knowing like you're in a way better place. Like you can drive, you're a safe driver. Like you don't have to stress about the roads. Obviously like other people may not be good drivers, but as long as I'm just doing my best, everything is going to be best.
Yeah, you're gonna be fine. So you feel fully comfortable now, right?
I feel so comfortable. Yeah, I don't even stress about it.
Speaking of stress, I don't usually smoke these bitches, but this past week I've been very stressed. So
Do your
please
thing,
forgive
honey.
me. Please forgive me, y'all. So this last week was full of emotions for me. I don't really want to get too deep and personal, but this past week I've been very high emotion. I've been like looking at my whole life as a whole and like, you know, just really reassessing. And like, so to spare all the nitty gritty details, we're going to talk about love bombing, gaslighting, and, you know, just manipulation in relationships, period. So, you know, I did start seeing somebody very briefly. I'm not somebody who like is really comfortable sharing like my personal like the nitty gritty details of like who I'm seeing and like, you know, whatnot. Maybe if I was like more secure in like a long-term relationship, then y'all would, you know, get little cute little boyfriend tag videos or something like that, whatever. Whenever I cross that bridge. But this was very new and very sudden. But yeah, I had like met this guy and it was crazy. It was just like, it was like the universe. Like we both kept saying that. Like it was so intense. I've never met somebody and like the moment we met, like we just clicked. Like, and it just felt like it made sense. There was just like a lot of passion, a lot of chemistry, a lot of affection, and like we spent several days together, and like it was happening very quick. And I am typically somebody who is very like hesitant to get involved with people, to letting people in my life. Like, I love meeting people, I love talking to people, but as far as like getting to know somebody and letting them in and like get to know the real me, that doesn't happen. I rarely do that. For at least the past 3 years, I have like put my foot down. Like, I don't need a man, I don't want a man, I'm not looking for a man. And then I wasn't looking for one, and then boom, this whole situation transpired. And then we just like, the things he was telling me was just like so something out of a movie. And like, I really don't want to share all the personal details because like I'm actually really hurt by the situation. And I've spent the past few days just like honestly getting really drunk. And today waking up sober and just really thinking about the whole situation. Things didn't work out, which is fine. You know, realistically, it's not the end of the world. We didn't know each other that long, but it's just crazy because it felt like he had every check marked, like met all of my qualifications and exceeded them at that, especially like the way he treated me and talked to me and like made my body feel. And it was just like, it felt like everything I've been asking the universe for years. But you know what? There were some lessons. I learned a lot of lessons in that short little affair. You know, I feel like he really was like a wake up call for me. You know, I hadn't been like sleeping around with people for a long time. You know, after my mother passed away, I kind of like honestly lost a lot of my sex drive. But I don't know, when I met him, it was just like we couldn't keep our hands and our mouths off of each other. But yeah, I learned a lot of lessons. I learned like one, like I really don't want to give myself to anybody that easily. Like, even it just felt real. Like, I usually am not the type of person that's like, oh, let's hook up on our first date, but like we both just felt overwhelmed with emotions. And yeah, I learned that I don't want to keep doing that. I don't want to keep like fooling around with people. I really don't want to do anything until I know like I'm secure with if and when I, you know, cross that bridge again with somebody, if I cross that bridge again with somebody. Because I honestly just feel like I have the worst luck with men. And that is one reason why I've not tried to get involved or invested in anybody's life, because I already just tell myself it's not going to work, or they're going to either like cheat on me or something, which has always been the case. He was a very nice guy, but I don't know, things didn't work out. But also, like, he just really, like, put me, like, it was weird. Like, I feel like a switch flipped in me the day before I had met him, where I, like, had this revelation, you know. For those who don't know, I used to be a lot heavier than I am now. I lost 120 pounds, and over the past few years, I have gained a lot of that weight back. And ultimately,
Can you move your leg a little further?
I've always, like, you know, I've always wanted to be skinny, fit, or whatever, like slim thick at least. I don't want to be super skinny. I got really skinny before and I look like a crackhead. But over the past 2 years, my weight has really fluctuated quite a bit. And I would like go into like little modes where I was like really geared up and like I would lose a good 10, 15, 20 pounds. But then I would ultimately always gain it back. But I don't know, like I've been really back on my shit. Like back in the day, like when I like kickstarted my weight loss, I just had like this revelation, because I was telling myself for years, like one day I'll be skinny, one day I'll be skinny, blah, 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 blah. But then one day I woke up and was like, that one day will never come if I don't have a day one. And then it just like was like a light switch. Same thing happened the day before I met him. And I've not went to any fast food. I have not eaten over 1,500 calories in a day. I've not eaten past 8 p.m., which is ultimately what I, you know, did years back when I lost all that weight. And I just feel so determined and motivated right now, more than I have since, you know, being small. Like, I don't know, the past few years, a lot has happened. Like, you met me at such a pivotal moment in my life. You met me at like the last chapter of goodness. if you will. Like, you came into my life right before me and my roommates all had falling outs. I moved out. We started working at Top Dog together. And previously, and now again, I had, an eating disorder with binge eating. It was a coping mechanism. It was my escape. Like, I wasn't using hard drugs, but I was eating 3,000 to 5,000 calories a day, which is so not good for you. And then, so yeah, you met me. I was still skinny back then. And then we were working in the restaurant. That wasn't helpful, but I was still doing kind of good. Like, you remember, I was pretty keto back then. But then my ex cheated on me. That kind of set me off for like 2 years, got me off kilter, gained a big chunk of weight. And then my mom got sick. That happened. And I just spiraled after that. And like, then once I kind of like regained myself from that, the trauma of being cheated on and that relationship ending and then losing my mother, then boom, TikTok, I started blowing up on there, and every day was like, celebrate, let's go out, yay, accomplishment, party, 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 let's have a good time. And so I've not really been able to really nurture my mind, body, and spirit and like really take care of my health and prioritize it. So I don't know. Even though that situation didn't work out, I feel like it was a wake-up call for me in a lot of ways. And so I feel really motivated. I've like written like 5 songs in the past 2 days, which I have not been writing music this entire year. I've not been inspired. And now I'm just like writing the best songs I've ever written, and like the lyrics, oh my God, I'm so excited. But yeah, you know what, you live and you learn. No love lost. I do hope him, or wish him well. I do, I don't hate him. He wasn't a bad guy. It just didn't work out. But moving on, let's talk about the love bombing though, because that is a big thing. And, I feel like some people think that they hear these new terms and then they just keep getting regurgitated again and again and again. And it becomes like trendy to use them. But I think over time, like as we grow as a society, we're learning like how to put these situations to words. Like love bombing, like it's always been a thing, but no one's really known how to like put it into words. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like, I feel like with him, and I know this is like something that a lot of people go through. They meet somebody and it's just like so intense and so passionate and so like sparks flying, and it just like doesn't make sense, and it comes out of nowhere, and then they fill your head up like, oh, you're an angel. You are so beautiful. You are good at everything. You are the greatest thing that's walked into my life. Where have you been all my life? Blah, blah. They really make you think like... I
think, too, though, like, it comes to a point where, like, if somebody hasn't been, like, in a relationship for a certain amount of time, or and vice versa or whatever, I think that sometimes, like, in that moment, they genuinely feel all these things. And then, like, what you're saying, like, if somebody else comes along or, like, an old fling comes along, like, they're going to gravitate towards that because that's what they're familiar with. And, like, even, like, I'm speaking from experience. There's been times where, like, I really wasn't with anybody for so long that, like, when I finally, like, was talking to somebody, I felt the same way. And then, like, when things didn't work out and I looked back on it, I'm like, honestly, like, I really didn't even feel for you that way. You know what I'm saying? It's just being the fact. Sometimes being alone for so long, like, even a little bit of emotion you might cling to. I think a lot of people can relate to that because, I mean, it's a thing. It really is.
It is, but my thing is like, be realistic and like, don't be a fucking love bombing piece of shit. Like,
yeah,
don't fill somebody's head up with all these things because, I opened up to him about my trust issues. I basically gave him all the tea and all the juice. And then he was like, oh, don't worry, this is magic, boss. It was just like so much. It was very intense, and it sounds so corny, and like I literally got stepped out of character. But like, I feel like the last week was so manic. I mean, I was really acting on emotion and the vibe, but yeah, don't like if you're. And he claims like he really meant everything he said and blah, say blah, but like I really think what it comes down to is he wasn't really out of the closet. And, while we're on the topic, there are 2 different types of out of the closet. Like, there are people who are in the closet because they are ashamed and they don't have any intentions of ever coming out and owning their truth.
for one reason or another. And then there's the people who are in the closet and they just haven't met the person to come out of the closet for, you know? And I asked him, I'm like, what category do you fall in? And he was like, oh, I would come out like if I'm, you know, if it was right. So I think he was just going back and forth with that. And also my intuition, plus I had a reading that just kind of confirmed my intuition. And like, I really think that he had some other entanglement that was like kind of lingering, and then they try to like come back and got his attention off me. I don't know. But no point in crying over spilt milk. I'm not over it, but like I'm getting over it. I'm gonna be fine. Don't worry, girls. I'm gonna be good as a golden goose. And honestly, I think everything happens for a reason, and I really think that I was supposed to meet him for this reason. Also, like, he kind of like showed me everything that I really want in a partner. Like, when my Casanova knight in shining armor comes and swoops me off my feet, like, if he ain't got his hands and mouth on me all day and all night, girl, it's a no for me. I don't need gifts. I can buy myself shit, okay? Give me your time and your touch. That's the only thing that's my love language. Like, some people love to give gifts. I love to personally give gifts, but I don't really care about or have an expectation to get gifts back. So anyways, but like gaslighting too, like, I can't stand, you know what? We should go on a break, actually.
Yes, we'll be right back.
Hey, mamas. Chances are I am Tooted McGee right now.
I love a good microdose moment.
I love hanging out with Miss Oregano, Ganjita, the Devil's Lettuce. You know what I mean. But I love her in any form I can get her. I have particularly been loving these Lumi Lab gummies. A little microdose moment. If you're not familiar with microdosing, it's basically an entry-level experience to floating on cloud nine. I don't suggest popping these like candies because you will start floating, but these are not going to land you in prison. They're very helpful with my anxiety, my insomnia. They make me feel creative. I be writing music and jotting down ideas for new episodes, but they're really great, and I highly recommend them. Microdose is available nationwide. To learn more about microdosing THC, just do a quick search online or go to microdosegummies.com and use code UNFAZED, and you will get free shipping plus 30% off your first order. Links can be found in the show's description, but again, that's microdosegummies.com and use code UNFAZED.
Today's episode is sponsored by the Pill Club. I've been putting all my homegirls on, so if you're a birth control girly, I highly recommend you give them a try. Access to affordable healthcare for women has become increasingly more and more difficult over the years, so treat yourself to some peace of mind with the Pill Club. Life is stressful enough. Access to healthcare shouldn't be. Luckily, birth control and sexual wellness products can be one less thing to worry about with the Pill Club. No more appointments, no more doctors, no more waiting rooms, no more lines at the pharmacy. Whether it's time to renew your prescription, looking to switch brands, or maybe you're a first-timer, the Pill Club has you covered. They've got 120 FDA-approved brands, mostly free with insurance. Prices start at $7 without. It'll come in a discreet package. You get free delivery, along with some free extra self-care gifts and goodies. So girls, what are you waiting for? Right now, when you go to thepillclub.com/unfazed, the Pill Club is offering a $10 donation to bedsider.org for every unfazed and unbothered listener who becomes a new patient. Your donation will help lower-income individuals get access to birth control through bedsider.org. That's thepillclub.com/unfazed to get your first birth control care package and donate to help more women in need of affordable birth control. Remember, thepillclub.com/unfazed. You must use the link to make a donation.
Okay, we're back. But gaslighting, let's pick back up on that. So gaslighting, for those who don't really have like a good understanding of what that is, that's like when you go in or like have a situation or something, and the other person has a different recollection, or they're like trying to manipulate you into believing that's not how it happened, that's not what was said, even though you know fully that's what was said and what happened. And like, it was, that particular situation was so intense. And so I was like trying to pump the brakes. I was like, we need to slow down because this is too intense and I'm too into it. And he was like, I'm too into it. Motherfucker started tearing up on me one day and was like, this is so crazy. And then when all was said and done, he said, I didn't know how to tell you things were moving too fast. Motherfucker, I told you that. I told you I didn't want to give this boom, 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 because we were moving too fast. So I felt like he was like gaslighting me, but I can't stand a gaslighter. That's like one of my biggest things. Like people, can't tell you how many people out there you'll experience something with, and then later on y'all get in an argument about it, and they're like, nope, that's not how it happened. I did not say that.
Yeah, a lot of people are like that.
They live in a delusion. It's like either they're just like really good liars, or they are just so much of a liar that they start believing their own delusion.
Yeah.
But yeah, girls, life is crazy. But you know what? Let's change the mood. I wanted to tell you this story. I didn't tell Tasia this yet because I wanted to save it for the podcast because it was so funny. So this morning I woke up and I was leaving to come over here, and I saw my grandmother in the floor next to her bed. And I got really scared. Like, I dropped everything in my hands, and I was like, are you okay, Mimi? Like, what's going on? And, like, to paint you guys a picture, she's got, like, this side table on the wall right here, and then her bed's, like, there's, like, a 3-foot clearance in between her nightstand and her bed, and she was wedged in between the nightstand and the bed. And her bed is, like, 4 feet off the ground. It's pretty high up. She fell off the bed, and I was, like, so worried that she, like, hurt herself. Bitch, when I went in there panicking, trying to help her up, I was like, what the fuck happened to you? And she goes, I fell out of bed. I was having a dream that I slapped a bitch. And she said, and I reached over to slap her, and it woke me up. I fell on the floor. She was running her damn mouth.
You're lying.
On my mother's grave. I don't know who she was fighting in her dreams, but she was so pissed. She was just talking about this bitch when she was in the floor, and I was like helping her up, and she was like, that dumb bitch. I'm like,
what's so crazy is like you literally like do her voice so well. Like literally you sound just like her. So it makes it so much more funny.
She's so shit. Country. I love Mimi. She's crazy.
She is, but she's so sweet.
She is. But I hope she's okay. I hope she didn't hurt herself, but shit was so funny.
Is there like a head on there? Or is that just the ointment?
It's the ointment.
Okay, I was like,
don't mess with it, girl.
No, I'm not. I don't think I'm gonna get any more lashes. Like I really am liking the no lashes. I don't know what's going on. It's weird because I had them off when I was pregnant with Princeton and I hated it. So what's going on?
Well, I think it's just catching up to you now, and you're seeing like what can happen. But also, if you just use like a good ass mascara, you will be totally fine.
Well, also they're like, I'm just like tired of like going to get them done. It's so long, and then I never like look in the mirror and I'm like, wow, I look so good with these lashes. The only time I ever feel like that is like when I first get them done. And they do look really, really good all the time. Really, for the most part, they do, unless they're like really falling out or like whatever. But like, it's just, I guess you just get so used to it that you can't really appreciate them anymore, I guess. And I just like, you miss like seeing your actual face. But like, this gets me on the subject. So there's this girl, I'm not going to like say who it is or whatever. Like, this happens to a lot of people. I like genuinely think she's pretty. And I don't know how, I guess she had made a video and she has like gotten plastic surgery or whatever. And when I saw a picture of what she looked like before, I was like actually shocked because she looks completely different. And she was like, I thought she was pretty now, but she was very pretty then. And so like, I feel like when, I don't want to get into like a habit of like trying to like change how I look. And I know this, people are probably like, it's just lashes, girl. But like, no, it's a thing. Like it starts off with one thing and then you start obsessing over another. And like, that is something like I don't want to get into. And so like, I just want to appreciate the way that I look because I don't know, it's like it opens your eyes a lot when you like see people doing that. Because like even like the girl got like, I'm pretty sure she got a nose job because I mean, she literally looks like a completely different person. And she's gotten all these things done and like she's literally nothing is wrong with her. And like I saw her like on a live talking about a tummy tuck and like I'm dead ass serious. Like, she has no loose skin, no nothing. And so I'm like, I do not ever want to be like that. Like, I'm grateful that I don't have to be like that. And I know, like, I do take things like a little far sometimes when it comes to my weight and shit like that. And that's why, like, I was on the subject of like getting a tummy tuck. And when I like actually sit down and think about it, I'm like, I'm not going to do that. You know what I'm saying?
You really don't need to, because you've pushed 2 babies out of you. Like, and it's still fresh. Like, your skin has still so much time to go back. And, like, you were already skinny before. So, like, you didn't, like, spend so much time with your stomach stretched out. So, like, you don't have, like, super saggy skin at all. Or anything even close. But, like, I don't know. I feel like once you do start doing, like, body modifications, you do become obsessed.
Addicted, yeah.
Yeah, because, like, last summer I got my under eyes filled and my lips filled, and I made an appointment when I go to LA to get more work done. So
yeah, like, I just don't want to. That's why, like, I never did like microblading on my eyebrows and shit too, because like I'm just like too scared to do that. But yeah,
shit, I don't know, girls. We still had like a lot of questions from last week's episode, but we had so much interruption, so we couldn't really get into all the questions. So we're going to go on another break really quick. I'm going to collect the best questions and we're going to come back.
Hey girls, today's episode is sponsored by Babbel. Now, I know it's March, but it's still technically the new year in my book. We have lots of goals we can check off of our checklists over the next few months. One of mine is brushing up on my Spanish. I only know a little bit, but I'm going to be using Babbel. They have 10 million subscribers, y'all, so clearly they're doing something right. Babbel's 15-minute lessons make it perfect for me to learn a language on the go. I don't have the time to sit down and dedicate a full hour, so this app is perfect. Other language learning apps use AI for their lesson plans. However, Babbel lessons were created by over 100 language experts. That's great to know. Their teaching method has been scientifically proven to be effective. With Babbel, you choose from 14 different languages, including Spanish, French, Italian, and German. Oop, I might learn some French too. Not only does Babbel teach you the language, but they help with your pronunciation and your accent, so it's very cute and gorgeous. There are so many ways to learn with Babbel. In addition to lessons, you can access podcasts, games, videos, stories, and even live classes. Plus, it comes with a 20-day money-back guarantee. Start your new language learning journey today with Babbel. Listen right now, girls. When you purchase a 3-month Babbel subscription, you'll get an additional 3 months free. That's 6 months for the price of 3. Just go to Babbel.com and use promo code Unfazed. That's Babbel, Babbel.com, and use code Unfazed. Babbel, language for life.
Okay, girls, so I've gathered a few of my favorite questions. I want to start with this one. This one was from GTFOKXLS. Get the fuck out something. What made you and Tasia click when you first met each other?
so I said that it's literally like love at first sight. Like, I'm dead serious. Like, we just clicked automatically. Like, there was no awkward nothing.
No.
Like,
We hung out the same day we
the
met.
same day, and then it was literally every day for the rest of history. Like, seriously, like, my mom was like, what's going on? Like, are you dating somebody? I was like, no. What's really funny is, like, the first time I told my mom I was hanging out with you, she was like, a boy, Tasia? Because I had just gotten out of rehab, and she was like, we don't need to go down this road again. And I was like, he's gay, Mom. And she was like, I don't believe you. And like Cam came over to my house and she's like, oh yeah, okay, period.
Yeah, y'all have a great time. It was crazy though.
My mom was like, Kim is so pretty. Like, I literally would mistake him as a girl. And I'm like, I'm telling you, I told you. Yes, honey.
It was crazy. I remember like being at Top Dog and like I was just like telling you about like tables and shit, and like we just started laughing like literally the moment we met, and we were just cutting up. We were already fucking talking shit about the fucking hicks that were in there, and we were just cackling like the whole shift. And then I think the next day I came and picked you up from your house, and we went to the thrift store and went back to my house, got fucked up. Good times.
We were drinking Jack and Coke.
Jack and Coke in my solo cup.
That was like our thing.
Yeah.
Was the Jack and Coke.
Or the 1800.
Yeah, I was like, what the fuck? And my ass would be like, I'm not a lightweight. Bitch. Cam would be like, all right, Tasia, you're cut off. And I'd be like, no, I'm
Yo,
fine.
I had to cut this bitch off, y'all. Like, she is such a lightweight. You get like 3 Trulies in you, and you're like, woo!
Holy shit. That's why me and alcohol don't mix. We just don't. Like, I think some people have a chemical imbalance where it just like, makes you act like a lunatic. And that is
Yeah.
me. Like, I see these things on TikTok and like people are like making jokes about it. And they'll be like, when you say you're going to have one drink and then you end up like at a random person's trailer that you met at the bar. And like, it's funny, but like in the moment, like that shit is seriously like so not good. And I feel like if you act like that when you drink, you should not drink. And I am one of those people. I can't explain to y'all how many times I've ended up at random people's houses when I have been drinking or just doing dumb shit. Like, bitch, you don't need to drink. You need to fucking drink some water, eat some bread, and go to sleep. Go to bed, bitch. You're done. What's another question?
What do you do when your friends start hating on your success? So this is a very relevant question for me and for you, really. I have had several friends kind of act like, kind of funny with me, or they, make it seem like I owe my platform to like vocalize on certain things, or, like campaign for them when they have like GoFundMe's and whatnot, or like they have like a shitty product they just on a whim invested in, and like they start getting bitter because you're like, this is a business. Like, I want to see all my friends thrive and whatnot, but you can't, really expect me to be a tool for your success. I had to grow on my own. You had to grow on your own. We both have something going for ourselves, and like when two worlds collide, it's beautiful, cute, and gorgeous. But like picking somebody up from the ground, from square one, from scratch, like that's not my duty. That's not my, responsibility. And not only that, like some friends, I think they have like trouble adjusting or watching you, kind of switch up your lifestyle. I went from literally scraping change out of my 99 Honda Civic hatchback, paying for gas with $4 and change, embarrassing, to now I literally can do just about anything I want. And people watching that happen, especially people that were in bad circumstances with in the past, when they see you start coming out of that and they see you like doing something for yourself, they're like, Cam thinks he's too good for us, even though I'm still hanging out with you bitches all the time. And like, I remember one time I had a really close friend of mine. We're still really good friends. I just had to have like a really intense come to Jesus with them. But this person like told one of my other best friends, like, I wonder how long it's going to be before Cam has to step back into the real world and get a real job. And I'm like, I held on to that for a long time and I never addressed it. And then finally, like, the opportunity arose and I was like, you know what? Now that you mentioned this topic, I want to address something I heard through the grapevine. And I fully believed what my friend was telling me. She had no reason to make that up or lie. And that sounds also like something he would say. So, speaking of gaslighting, he tried to gaslight me in that situation and was like, started crying. It was very dramatic. And he's like, I can't believe out of all the years of friendship, you would think that I don't support you because I used to really ride for you and your music and blah, blah. I go back to the beginning with you. And it was just like, look, dude, I know all of that. I've known that you've said this for a while. And I'm just addressing it now. I didn't go anywhere for a reason. Like, I know people say stupid shit out of spite and out of jealousy. But you definitely have to keep an eye open because you just never know. But I really feel like after I had that, like, come to Jesus with him, it really kind of catapulted our friendship in a different direction. And I think we're closer than ever now, emotionally, like mentally. But I don't know. People will start getting funny with you when you start taking off.
Yeah, I've had a lot of friendship. Actually, majority of my friendships I don't have anymore because of the exact same reason. I've been on social media for 10 years and, in high school, obviously when you're a teenager, kids think that all that stuff is cool. And they try to take advantage or just hang out with you so you can post a picture with them and they can get followers and blah, blah, blah. With that being said, I actually got a lot of people, like a huge following back then. And we no longer, I mean, I talked to a few of them, but not really, like I'm not close with them anymore. And I definitely don't hang out with them. But like there are multiple people that, you know, during my addiction and shit like that, we fell out anyways, but they weren't a genuine friend to begin with. And so that they didn't have to, I guess, tell people what happened in our friendship. They always said, oh, Tasia's a junkie, or Tasia's this, or Tasia's that. But they never say like their parts in the friendship either. Because one thing about me is I've always owned up to the things that I've done. If I was in my addiction or whatever, I've always said that. I'm very transparent about everything I've done. I was not always a good friend. But when it comes to friendships based around social media, that's just something like I don't really tolerate anymore. If that's even brought up, I'm pretty much probably not going to hang out with you again. It's just fucking weird.
It is weird.
And yeah, like nobody does that. I'm not going to go out of my way and make time for people that want to gain something from me. Why is it a friendship's not supposed to be like that anyway? A friendship is supposed to be where you guys are just friends, you know, for each other. It has nothing to do with what you do for work or what I can gain from you. You know what I'm saying? It's more like, how are we together as people? Like, what do we do that makes us happy? I don't want to hang out with somebody and then bring up my job. You know what I'm saying? Because is what social media is. And I don't care what people say about it. People are like, "Oh, it's not a job," blah blah blah. But there's also times where like it's so hard doing social media that like I cry sometimes. Not because it's hard on all these things. Yes, it's hard, but also being the fact that like I stay home with kids, so like I never get a break. I don't get to have the weekends off and do these things. I have to do shit on the weekend. It's Monday through Sunday thing every fucking day, and that's something that I was willing to do. When I stopped working at the job that I had a year ago, that is something that I had to commit to. But there's, you know, people, this really rubs me the wrong way too, like people that literally got followers because I tagged them in pictures and like I'll see them on TikTok and it'll be like, used to be a Viner. No, you did not. Nobody even knows who you are. I don't even know why you're saying that. Literally, like that's so weird. It's weird, and I've never understood it. And the worst part is like the person, like when it comes to the sexual assault, if you know what I'm talking about, that whole situation. Yeah. I saw one of her accounts, and that's what it had said. Used to be a Viner, and I'm like, no, girl, no, you did not. No, you did not. But okay, period. But yeah, and then the whole other situation with the girl that always still to this day runs her mouth about me. Her Instagram actually got taken down and she had to make a whole new one.
Did it really?
It sure did.
Fuck yes.
Yeah, so sorry about it, honey. But yeah, and she is a moocher. She's a moocher, and everybody that she used to be friends with, they're no longer friends with her anymore. And actually one of the girls followed me on TikTok, and I'll show you that she used to be friends with. And I'm like, so y'all see that she is the fucking problem.
Remember when your last girl brought that bitch up?
Yeah, and oh my gosh, people have an obsession. And I genuinely used to think that like, I never understood that. But like, I remember I used to have people tell me like, your friends are actually like kind of obsessed with you. And I was like, what do you mean? And they were like, I'm just telling you, like sit back and wait for it and watch. You'll see in a few years. People that I have not seen or talked to in 5+ years do the most to try to get information about what the fuck I'm doing.
Social media trying to drag you to the dirt. It's like,
I'm like, girl, I forgot your name. I don't even remember where. Yeah, I don't even remember half our memories anymore. Like it's so fucking old now. Like I was a child. But also like, I think too, when you have kids, like you have to grow up and you have no choice but to grow up, and like you're just. As a mom, like I'm on a completely different level than the people I used to be friends with. Most of them don't have kids. Actually, none of them have kids. So like their level of maturity and mine, we're on two completely different levels. That's why like when people are asking like, what happened with you and so, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, who even is that? Like, I'm not going to sit here and I'm not going to make a whole TikTok for them, like, and address what happened. Like I've said multiple times, we're not friends. Like with the girl that, I'm not going to say names because I always get worried, like, because like legal shit and all that. But like, with her, literally there was no reason that we even had a falling out other than the fact that she was a pathological fucking liar. And I helped basically promote a business that was falling under. And then when we stopped being friends because I got tired of how toxic she was like saying all these things about me that weren't true. The only thing that she said that was true was the fact that I was a crazy and on drugs, because back then I was on drugs. So you're right about that. But as for everything else,
but didn't she do drugs with you?
She didn't. I don't think she ever did drugs, but she
would get fucked up.
Yeah, and I never did drugs around her either. Only thing we did together was drink. I would admit that, like, but the day before I would go over there or something, like with the guy that I was dating at the time, we would do like pills and shit. So I think that she tried to like use that to make me feel some type of way. But I'm like, you can't shame the shameless. Like,
right.
That was way back then. You can't sit here and continue to call me a druggie, because I no longer do drugs anymore. And then like for her coming for me about the fact that I was 21 and had a 3-month-old, and she's hanging out with 19-year-olds and 20-year-olds that had multiple kids. And I'm like,
but 21, like, that is such a normal age. Like, people are 16 and pregnant.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, that's how I knew that there was some kind of fucking level of jealousy and obsession, because I haven't talked to you in so many years and I have a child and you're talking bad about my child. Like,
she was just itching for a reaction.
And even people on her live were like sticking up for me. They were like, you have friends that are younger than Tasia and has more kids than Tasia. Not only that, but you're literally talking about somebody that doesn't even remember you.
So
like,
far removed from your life.
Yeah, completely. Like, we haven't talked in years. And like, that was her way of, I guess, getting people to watch her live. Like, what? It's just embarrassing. So yeah, I completely understand that. And that's why I don't have friends. Like, I'm dead serious. Like, I do have a trauma when it comes to friends. And yeah, I joke it off a lot, but it's a serious thing. Like, I can't, even when I meet new people and I'm like, oh, like, they have the potential to be such a good friend, they bring up social media, and then that's it for me. Like, I can't do that. Like, I literally can't. And like, it used to not be a red flag, because back in the day I was like, oh, like, they're just being nice. But I literally had to learn the hard way. So like, anytime social media is brought up, or like pictures and video, all that shit, I'm like, okay, like, won't be seeing you again. Like, not going out of my way. And like, I'm not trying to sound like a bitch at all, but like, I have gotten burned so many times that way, and I just can't tolerate it. I just can't. People don't understand that, like, you're a normal human being and you have a life, and I am normal. Like, I've been through probably some of the worst things a human can go through, and yet I'm still looked at like a different person, because I have people that follow me on platforms. Like, I just want to be looked at like a normal person. I want to have normal friendships.
Because we're not fucking Beyonce and Lady Gaga.
And exactly. And I feel like people don't understand that. Like, and that scares me too, because like, you cannot allow people to get too close to you in this world anyway, because the moment they find out one little thing, they'll try to like burn you.
Use it against you.
Yeah, use it against you. And so like, I just would rather not have friends, because right now, like, I'm focused on the friendships that I have, which is you and my family. Like, that's it. That's all I have time for. Like, I'm too busy for the drama. And there's been times where even recently, like, people are like, so-and-so still talking about you. And I'm like, well, good for them.
Hang
like,
it up.
Yeah, like, good for them. Like, I don't have anything to say, like, I know a lot of things that people have done in their past. And just because I'm not friends with them doesn't mean I'm going to be like, oh yeah, years ago, she was this, she was that. I don't care. And I'm sure nobody else cares, because we all have a past. We've all done things we're not proud of. Yeah, years ago, maybe I wasn't a good friend. Maybe I was a druggie. Maybe I was this. Maybe I was that. But I'm not today, and that is where we're at. So I don't know why people bring up the past. But I think that wraps up today's episode, honestly. Like, I feel so much better getting that off my chest.
Yeah.
And I am ready to slay the day.
Okay, well, we're gonna slay more of these questions on next week's episode. We are gonna record another one right after. So when you're getting this episode, I'll be out in LA, hopefully getting my lips done. It'll be very cute and gorgeous.
Love you guys.